So I wasn't originally sure what I was going to talk about tonight, and that's kind of where this title came from, where I met Sherry, and she's like, yeah, I do this thing, and I came to the last one, and she's like, do you want to talk at the next one? And it was kind of like, it's not always that instant full body fuck yes. And so sometimes it's that curiosity where I'm like, maybe, you know? And we all know the fuck yes, right? Where it's like, yeah, fuck yes, right away. And so that's kind of where I went with this when I started. I don't have some curated script or thing that I share everywhere. This is just me on a stage rambling. And if anybody knows me, my inside thoughts live outside most of the time. So this is a bit of a challenge for me. But where the fuck yes came for me was getting curious. And that's really what I want to talk about today. Is it starts with that little bit of curiosity of, you know, what if there's more? What if there's something to this? And for this one, just as maybe a shout out to my mom who's passed, it's her birthday today, and that was the moment you're like, the date shifted to the 11th, and I'm like, fuck yeah, full body, fuck yeah. It's the 11th, let's do this. Worst case, my mom will be there, you know, she'll be there in spirit. I'll blame it on her. She's not here to, you know, fault me, but so going back to the full body fuck yes and the curiosity, and it really got me thinking of what starts that, you know, and what's possible, and where did I start with all this, you know, where I'm like, okay, I'll get on a stage, you know. I grew up with tons of anxiety as a kid, and if anybody knew me in my head, you know, this was terrifying. And so before I dive into that, it's often I find that we're ran by stories, right? And the stories tell us, and they're not ours often. They're rarely ever ours, or we created them. You know, we think that's us. We think we're the story, right? And so the story, should I get on stage? Should I do this? I don't fucking know, right? My mind, too, is like, should I talk about, you mentioned the Sears catalog, should I talk about how my dad talked about how they couldn't afford toilet paper, and they looked forward to that one because it was better for wiping their butt? You know, like, do I talk about that? I don't know. But again, it gets with that curiosity and what if there's more there, and letting go of the how. And so I want to share a bit of a story of kind of going back just about 20 years at this point. And so, it's funny because I've told the story before. When you stand on stage, it's different. Everybody's looking at you, you know? But so, yeah, this is quite a while ago, and I apologize, you know, trigger warning, I guess. You know, I was in a really dark place, and, you know, I'm driving down the road, and this happened almost daily, where I'd be driving, and I'd be looking, and I'd be like, you know what, that looks like, that's the fucking tree. That's the pole. I could just, how fast would I need to go? What would end it, you know? And really what I love to talk about is alignment. And at this point, I was so out of alignment that I was like, you know, again, how fast? How do I finish this, right? And clearly out of alignment. And we all know the full body fuck no, right? We know when we're like, fuck no, nope, not for me, right? That one's easy. Get into the full body fuck yes, that's a different one, you know? And the kicker with all this, and this goes back to the stories, and the stories that run us, and the stories that we adopt. And so at this point, you know, I'm in my early 20s, and the funny part is, from the outside looking in, I had built a multi-million-dollar business. I had the wife, I had the kids, you know, the white picket fucking fence, and whatever else, and all the things, and I just wanted to end it, because I was running a story that wasn't mine. I did the thing, and I was like, okay, now what? I'm supposed to be happy, right? And I'm like, I'm not happy. I'm a full body fuck no, this sucks. Like, and that really got me thinking, and that's what sparked the curiosity originally. And so at that point in my life, and this is part of what I want to talk about too, is how things start with a decision. And often the catalyst sometimes is that moment where we're like, fuck no, or somebody passes or something, you know, that's like this extreme thing that makes us shift and force us to do something. I don't want to say force us. I believe we always have choice, right? So we get to choose. And so me at that time, I was like, okay, I don't want to be here. This is a problem. And my wife at that time, I said, okay, I'm either like going to the loony bin or I'm going somewhere. And what shifted for me is I got curious and I started seeking. And so that's just full disclosure. This isn't a pitch for a retreat, but I found a retreat in Sedona. And the funny thing is, because I grew up like probably many people, and I grew up with the Catholic guilt. And the funny thing is, I found this retreat, and they had the spiritual retreat, and I was like, fuck no. Like, now I would consider myself a very spiritual person, but they had a healing retreat. So I went on this healing retreat, and it absolutely changed my life in such a beautiful way. And it started with that curiosity. It started with the decision to go, I don't want to fucking feel like this anymore. I feel like shit, and I want something to change. And it was a full body fuck yes. And again, it was maybe a bunch of little micro yeses that led to it. I called them. They explained it to me. They told me what would happen. And again, I don't have to get into the details, but I did this beautiful experience, 5 days, custom one-on-one, just me, 3 sessions a day. And I did, breath work and hikes in the mountain with shaman, and I got constellation work, and you name it. Like, I feel like I won the fucking lottery with that. And if anybody's into this stuff, like, I got so many things all at once, and I left just feeling a million times better. And that kind of planted the seed for me just to really start playing. And again, it's been a minute, and this is where I think it's really important to have grace with ourselves too. Because quite often we're like, I felt so great. And then all of a sudden you're like, another thing happens. And you're like, fuck, like I feel like shit. The darkness is back, like, there it is. I thought I told you to fuck off, like, I thought I was done the work. It's not linear. What? It never ends, But that led me to this playfulness and this curiosity. And part of this sparked recently too, when I was working with a mentor and friend of mine in the longest name ever, psychotherapeutic somatic trauma training, anyhow. But he talked about getting curious, and in these spaces, everything's information. And it started me playing with this idea, what if I could just be a mad scientist with life, And like, sometimes I'm going to do things. I might pass out on the stage, and I don't know, but to me that's like, I'm going to play with the formula, and I'm going to burn my eyebrows off, but I'm having fun. I'm just playing. I like the playing. It's not about the formula or the result. It's what if I just get curious with that? What's that? Yeah, they're still there. So kind of, I want to jump now back into kind of more of the present moment, where I've adopted this motto, in a sense, of getting curious and also really letting go of the how. And to me, that has been such a game changer. And again, the how is a story. The how is a story. We're like, I could never do this because of this, and this, and this. And is that your story? Is it somebody else's they gave to you? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But when we let go of the how, cool things happen. And so this is a very recent story. And I'm going to tell it quickly, but so I've kind of let go of this how and got really curious. And what happened just a couple weeks ago is I got married on a mountain, on Sunshine Mountain, which I didn't. Don't cheer, but if you want. But it was kind of this thing I saw, and because I've been open and I've been curious, so I saw this post on Facebook that was looking for couples. Looking for models to come up to Sunshine Village and do this elopement shoot. And it was a local photographer working with somebody in Banff. And I'm like, I can't do that. And again, my story was, I just got out of a relationship. I can't, I'm single. Like, that's a huge problem. I can't do this thing. And then where I started to get curious and open, and this is another thing that I think is so important, is starting to normalize things, and surrounding ourselves with like-minded people and people that are also curious. And there's a lot of us in this room, which is beautiful. And what happened is my friend Michelle messaged me, and she's like, hey, I saw this post. I'm like, yeah, I saw it too. And we haven't known each other long, and we're friends. And she's like, you want to do it? And I'm like, micro, yes, maybe. I'm curious, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I got work and this. And honestly, in my mind, I was still holding on to maybe some hope of my past relationship reemerging, and I'm like, I gotta get on a mountain, I basically gotta kiss a stranger, and then it's gonna be public. This is fucking weird, right? It's a crazy thing. Like, it's fucking weird, guys. And I know I'm skipping ahead to the end result, but eventually I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm in. Full body fuck yes, And I want to go back to the letting go of the how. And so this is a really interesting thing, if you believe in manifesting and whatever that looks like to you, is I sat there a couple weeks ago and I was like, I want to go snowboarding more. And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. I want to go to the mountains more. And then funny enough, with this event, Sherry's like, send some headshots. I'm like, fuck, I haven't had any real photos done in like a long time. So that was part of it. I manifested this trip and I got to go to Banff. I got to have this beautiful experience because I let go of the how. And I got more than that. And again, I don't have time to tell you all the things I got out of that, but I just got this beautiful experience. And so I guess what I'm encouraging with that is, what if we let go of the how? And what if we just got curious? And what if we, just made a decision, right? It always starts with a decision to go, I want to change something in my life. I want to do something more. I want to do cool shit with cool people, all these cool people. And so the invitation is, I read a quote the other day that I'm called to share. And it's really simple, but it says you don't have to be ready to start. You just have to start to be ready. And that's kind of what I want to leave you with. It's just like, what's one tiny little thing? And again, I always say, like, I don't know shit. This is my life. I'm just a dude in a meat suit and a blazer and a hat, Like, I think it's so important to live your own story, live your own truth, and really go, what if I just really went inward and said, yeah, that's me. This is what I want to do. And the problem, I don't want to say the problem, but quite often, like, why are we waiting for a death? Why are we waiting for a breakup? Why are we waiting for this moment where we feel so shitty? We're like, fuck, I need something to change. So I guess the invitation is, make a little micro decision. So I'll leave it there.